Good evening. This is the Fellaz Sports Talk. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm nappy.
Now, let's get this started. This past
All-Star
weekend.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you feel about it? How'd you feel about it as a whole? How'd you feel about
As
it
a
as a whole?
as a whole, it was interesting.
Okay.
Interesting in the sense that the ambiance to me still wasn't there. It's like watching a glorified pickup game,
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean? With like a couple of, I'm not calling the fans stragglers, but just a couple of stragglers who happened to be around who were
Yeah.
watching it. It's not like in past years where it was like, full people to make the events that much more hype. So
Yeah.
overall though, I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I was watching the broadcast from like 5 to when it ended.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing funnier than watching Shaq, Kenny, and them guys go at it because they're
That's
pure
true.
jokes. You know what I
That
mean?
is true. That is true.
So yeah. And you, what did you
No.
think overall? How did you feel about it?
Overall, I liked it. I liked it. You're right. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of starting to get used to this, indoor gym type of pickup rec ball type of televised thing. So I'm kind of becoming like, this is just what it is. This is the new reality. This is what it's so. But no, it was good. I liked the competitiveness. Like
Yeah, I
it
was
was
about to say,
it was entertaining though. It was like, people trying to outdo each other. They kept at least a bit of an edge to it, even though
mhm.
at first, honestly, I thought it was gonna be foolish because the pandemic and everything. So I was like, why are they trying to force this in a season where they just pretty much want to get to the end of it? But it was a good a good break from the norm.
True.
I thought that was actually it worked out where nobody really so far as we know has gotten like Ben Simmons, but that was
That
before
was
there.
unrelated, like, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
damn you, barber. That's why you need to go dreads. You go dreads. You don't gotta worry about the barber. You know what I mean?
I'm saying,
Worry
thinking
about
about
them
it.
fresh fades.
Depending on how long this thing lasts, man, I might just have to. But no, it was good though. Overall, it was good. So now let me ask you, how do you think of specifically? Would you actually let me just start it off? Actually, no, the skills competition. We'll go how it went. So how do you feel about the skills
You know
competition?
what? I always enjoy the skill competition because it's
Hmm.
really anybody's game at that point. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about dribbling, passing, layups, which Chris Paul missed again.
exactly. No,
It's
no.
like when it happened, I was like, seriously, seriously. And I think he jinxed himself though, because he had
Yeah,
mentioned it earlier on in the broadcast, and then bang, it happened now. You know what I mean? But
exactly.
I enjoy just because it's really up for grabs. Like there's
Yeah.
no specific person that could win
Hmm.
when that competition comes around. So it's always entertaining when a big man wins to me. I don't know,
Yeah.
I just find it funny.
Yeah. No, no, definitely. I can
Because
see it.
it's the one group of guys that you wouldn't think would win,
Hmm.
but they keep winning, especially recently. But that's also the trend now. It's all about
Yeah.
big men with ball handles and be able to shoot that outside shot. There are no more Shaqs
Yeah.
in the league, like you know what I mean.
Definitely
Uh,
not.
So yeah, I don't mind it. Like for me, it's
Okay.
always entertaining.
Yeah.
You?
No, okay. It's two part. I found it entertaining, definitely, and I didn't mind seeing a big man win, but I thought it proves a bigger point that we've gotten so far away from like just practicing at like a local basketball court or street ball, like because you look at a player like Chris Paul who in the game gets 16 assists and dominates, but then when you do specific drills, he like sucks. So it's like I think it kind of shows that you don't have to be able to, I don't know, do a fancy trick with a ball or spin the ball on your fingers for like 2 hours to be able to be a good basketball player. Or like half these drills they do in combines where they check
Mhm.
how high you could jump or how much you could bench press doesn't mean you're not going to be end up being like Kevin Durant. Like
True.
the whole point is it's there's a flaw in the system. Don't get me wrong, this specifically was good. I enjoyed it, but I'm just saying overall to how they define what the skills are you need to be good in these sports, I think are
Mhm.
flawed the way that they actually judge it. But that's I guess a part of a bigger discussion. But I'm just that's kind of what I took away from it when I saw Chris Paul lose. I'm like, You, you know,
It was kind of heartbreaking because in reality, I would at least expect him to be in the finals, bare
exact.
minimum,
That's what I'm saying.
bare minimum,
But
and
then
it's
you see
just
him come out, ball out in the All-Star, like so. It's like, okay, clearly there's it doesn't one thing doesn't necessarily translate to the other thing. That's all I'm
true.
trying to say. But it was definitely very good. I still definitely enjoyed it. It was entertaining. Now, 3-point competition. How'd you feel about that?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I found that there was again another one of them that this year it was anybody's game. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was deep down inside, I was rooting for Steph.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, he ain't winning no championships anytime soon.
I
All
feel you.
right.
I feel
So
you.
I figured, I'm
I
like,
feel
yo,
you.
let the arguably one of the best all time 3 point shooters,
Mm,
especially of this decade, but maybe even overall at the end of his career, because that's it's still up for debate. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Anything could happen, especially with all these young bucks coming around shooting threes left, right, and center.
yeah.
Um, I was rooting for him, you know what I mean? And again, in my back pocket, I was going for Conley because Conley been dogged for years,
Underrated.
for
100%
years, years,
underrated.
years,
His whole
years. And
career.
then, okay,
Yeah,
so he got in again because somebody got injured,
exactly.
but I'll take it. So when he was
Mm,
in there, I was like, listen, if it's not Curry, it's got to be Conley. And lo and behold, who's in the finals? And when he got that 27, I was like,
mm,
it's still Steph. You can't knock out Steph, but it's like, man, he just made it
yeah,
interesting. And it honestly was literally down to the last shot. And it was
yeah.
great. It was perfect.
It
Like,
was.
it could
I
have gone
agree.
either ways. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I thoroughly enjoyed the 3 point competition, especially this year because it wasn't a blowout. It was really
mm,
neck and neck.
yeah.
So
I fully agree with that. I really enjoyed it. I was definitely going for Steph, but just because I, I'll actually, you know what? I'll leave this for the next question. But I was going for Steph. I thought it was dope. I wish like Dame would have joined it. Do you know what happened with Booker? I don't know. Did he? He just. I thought that he made the team through technicality. Maybe he didn't, but I thought because people were
I'm pretty sure
missing.
I saw the same thing you did, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to double check.
Yeah, same thing. I have no clue why Devin Booker wasn't there, but I was just in general there was like amazing shooters that weren't in it. Like I enjoy Tatum, I enjoy Brown, I enjoy all these players, but they're not specialists.
Mm-hmm.
So they're entertaining. It was fun to watch, but I prefer legit just about everybody that was in the 3-point competition, other than Conley being the dunk competition. It was just it was a bunch of great athletes and good scorers, but no specialists.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was good to see. I enjoyed seeing it. I enjoyed that Conley at least showed some of his aim, and Steph prevailed. But it was pretty much, in my opinion, given to him because there was no real competition. Sometimes you play down to a level. That's what he kind of did in this. Like he started off with the 31, and then after that, he saw the highest was 27. You're like, yeah, all right, let me.
All right, cool. I guess I'll get 28.
Exactly, right? So,
You know
but
what
it
I
was
mean?
good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So, I guess next we'll talk. How's the game? How'd you feel about the All Star game?
All right, so I might get a lot of haters on it.
Okay.
The game itself I didn't thoroughly enjoy.
Okay.
Again, for me it's ambiance. For me it's playing into it.
Mhm.
I like the All-Star games where like the first 3 quarters was back and forth. Again, entertainment,
Yeah.
fun. I'm gonna show you up, you're gonna show me up. And then the scores will generally remain close. And then in the fourth quarter, that's when that little bit of competition came in. Yeah, you still had fun, but it's like it's either the West or the East is gonna take it at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't really get much of that because most of the shots that were taken were all threes. I wanted to see
Definitely.
some off the backboards. Yeah, we got some alley oops. First of
Yeah.
all, Curry and Paul. Once again, every time they do that in
Yeah.
All-Star game, to me it's like, man, one
That's
for the little guys. Like, you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
We got big boy up and coming Zion who was
Mm.
nervous. That was
His
nerves. You
first
know what I mean?
time.
I
He.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, he was nervous, but then
Mm.
outside of that, like there really wasn't anything in terms of an off factor of the game itself, that All-Star
Yeah.
game, the what you're supposed to get from it. I wasn't feeling it. Like
Yeah.
I was watching the game, and then sometimes I was looking at other stats that was going on for other things. Like, let's see, did the Jays win their exhibition game today? Nope. Like, I was easily distracted by the
Yeah.
fact that there wasn't true entertainment.
Yeah,
again, I can't knock Giannis. He went 16 for 16, like
definitely
unheard of.
16 for 16.
In
That
a,
was
for one, in a game, but let alone an
mhm.
All-Star game.
Definitely,
You know what I mean?
definitely. I feel you. That
Then
was
then you had Curry and what's his name going back and forth, hitting from like
yeah,
the half
Dame
court. Like
Lillard.
that's
Yeah,
fun. That's fun. But
yeah,
when your fourth quarter is the first to 170, but you're already up 20 and got to score like 10.
yeah.
I
I
don't I
feel
don't
you.
know. I didn't.
I
I
get you
wasn't
on that part. I get you on that part.
I wasn't feeling
So,
it.
so I think this is where we were pretty much on the same path, but I think this is where we exit because I actually enjoyed it. I thought the what kept me entertained because I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy it because this is the first time we see an All Star game with practically nobody in the crowd, and so I thought it was gonna be hard to watch. But I thought that, in my opinion, actually, that Curry pretty much carried that weight. It was entertaining. I wanted to see what shots he was gonna hit, like especially in that first quarter and second quarter, like shooting it close to half, and
Mm-hmm.
and then after Dame came with it, you know what I mean, brought it on, and I was like, all right, cool. It became more interesting to me. Again, the dunks, there was not as much, definitely as not as much as threes, but seeing the little guys get up. Uh, Curry catching it from alley from inbounds, that's fire just because of distance.
And it's
Uh,
Curry. You
exactly.
know what I mean? So,
Paul catching it from an alley from top of the key, that's still fire, you know? So,
from Curry, like you know what I mean. So it's like
exactly.
that was stuff I thoroughly enjoyed. Like I
E-
can't say I didn't, but
exactly. Dame Dollar coming in, shooting up some shots, pretty much pushing. Don't get me wrong, because Curry started off shooting close to the logo, but then Dame Dollar came in, shooting past the
half
logo,
court. Yeah.
pushing him to do it too. That was definitely interesting. It was just its own storyline right there. Then Giannis. Uh, he he was beasted. He was playing it like it was a real game. He was like,
For real, he was
if
though.
you guys gonna give me this, I'm going right to the basket. He wasn't trying to do nothing fancy, yo. Just like So I'll give him credit on that. Do I think he should have won? I think the only reason why he won the MVP is because
16 for
16 for
16, man.
16. Do I think he should have won the MVP? Not
Nah.
really. It was really the easiest 16 I've ever seen in my life. Um, and so I was like, it was good though. Like he definitely, I can't blame him for hustling and playing hard. So
Mhm.
it's not like I'm gonna take it away from him. It's just, do I think that 16 really mattered or changed anything to the game? Not really. You know, it could have either went to Dame or Steph. I think it should have went to Steph just because he was scoring when it kind of mattered, like in the
Mhm.
first quarter, second quarter, like it was actually a game, and he was doing it, and he was getting all the oohs and ahs. By the end of it, when Lillard hit that three to win the game, they were up by 17. It was it was like good, congrats, but it wasn't really the same effect, you know?
Like you knew it was done when the inbound pass came in and Curry didn't even cross half court once Dame
E-
had the ball. He didn't cross.
exactly,
He went and started walking back to the bench with his hands up. I seen that. I'm like,
exactly.
yeah, this. I'm like, if this man hits the shot, like,
But
and
that's
then
what,
bang, what does he do? He hits the shot. I'm like, yeah.
and that's why not to take away anything from Dame, he came up big in that game as well, but it was just not all points are created equal. Like when you're already up by 17 and you need a three to win, it's like it was like it wasn't the
But
same as the
everybody
first
knew
two
they were gonna
quarters.
shoot a three regardless. So
Exactly. So that was my only thing. So I think Steph should have won that. And this brings up another thing I wanted to ask. Steph Curry, do you think he's underrated or overrated?
good question. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still think to some extent that he's still underrated. Like people still
Okay.
underrate him.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, they know he's a good shooter, but they're still questioning whether he can fully carry a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which you can see he's doing his part to carry the current team and the current situation they're in.
Yeah.
Going to win every game, but they're also not going to lose every game. So
Exactly.
I kind of feel just based on you know him not necessarily always being in major talks for one to being able to carry a team that he's still underrated. But I
Yeah.
think, you know, given better compatibility with some of the teammates that he has and
Mm-hmm.
getting accustomed, I think he could carry a team.
Yeah.
My personal belief. So maybe I still feel like he might be underrated
Okay.
to some extent.
Yeah. I actually think he's underrated. I think that it's like for the most part blatant disrespect coming from like a lot of media outlets and just different people whenever they talk on him. For one, they no one could ever just give him his roses. They always have to bring somebody else up. Like right now, before it was Steph and LeBron. Like, yeah, but LeBron did this, but LeBron did that. Now it's Steph and Dave. So it's always like, who's the best shooter? Steph and Dave. Don't get me wrong. Again, it's not to knock Dave, but it's not a competition. As of yet, it's not a competition. If Dame has a shooting percentage for the last 10 years, like Curry did, and wins 2 times MVPs. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that it's not a competition. You cannot
Hmm.
put somebody's recent success against somebody that's been doing it for years. So that's my issue. I think that he's very much underrated because he really doesn't get the respect. Like even when they talk about the top players in the NBA, his name is constantly not in it. Like they'll bring him up as far as the best shooter,
Shooters.
but again, like you said, they say he can't lead a team, which makes no sense because he's been leading a team since 2013, 2014, and on.
Hmm.
They're acting like Klay Thompson came into the league a superstar. They're acting like Draymond Green came into the league a superstar. These are guys that organically built. You can't knock him just because other players did not make their teammates or not even going to give him all the credit, but collectively that a team did not grow well with each other. But
Hmm.
if anything, you should be giving him credit rather than saying, well, he has better players on his team. No, well, he also helped his teammates get better, which a lot of players don't do. So instead of taking away points, you should give him for that. So I know I'm going on this whole tangent on it, but I just see a lot of disrespect and slander go on towards Steph, just because I really can't. Just the fact that people are wondering who's better between him and Dame is so insulting. Whenever they've played in the playoffs head to head, even without Durant, he's won.
Hmm.
Like it's
Big
how can
facts.
you? Same thing with him and Harden. They consistently put Harden against them, but even without Durant, when Durant got injured and they played Houston, they beat them. It's
Hmm.
it makes no sense just how disrespected he is. Um, I don't know, just by media and just popularity. Zion Williamson.
I actually would have actually preferred to see or thought he would have joined the dunk contest, but he clearly said he didn't want to do it, which again,
Yeah.
to a certain extent, I understand why some players don't do it. But then
Please
sometimes I
elaborate.
feel
Why
like,
why why do you think some
but they
players
but
don't
they
do it?
they they tired. You know what I mean? They're like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, man. We tired
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Listen, man, I've said no to dunk contests. I'm no professional. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
be putting it. I ain't gonna be doing cartwheels and backflips and throwing it down. But I said
Yeah.
no just because, man, I'm tired. And
Yeah.
sometimes you also want to enjoy other people who you know can do some of the same dunks you do. You
Mm.
do too. Plus, for all we know, there might be some stipulation in his contract that says you cannot do the dunk contest for the next 2-3 years. It's very possible. We don't know. I
So
don't sit there and write contracts.
I
I would have
feel
loved
you.
to have seen him.
Uh-huh.
Just like to this day, LeBron James has yet to enter a dunk contest.
Mm-hmm. And
You know
but
what I
that's
mean?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was gonna say. I feel you, and for all the reasons you said, tired, contract, you've been through it and you've been asked to do it, and you sometimes I know you've done it a couple times, but for the most part, sometimes you might be like, hey, I'm too tired. I want to enjoy. But then there's people like me that can dunk. I've been asked to be in the dunk competition before, and I said no. And the reason I said no is because the dunks I do are nice for in game, but if I was in a dunk competition, it might not be the same. And I think that's the same reason LeBron and Zion haven't, because their mystique will be ruined.
Hmm.
Like they're known as high jumpers and nice, you know what I mean? Nice with it in the air. Now, if they go and all their best dunk is a windmill or a reverse pump, a whole bunch of his Zion being the top dunker between Sean Kemp and Barkley, all of that goes out the window. So I think it was more of a career move rather than being tired, which a lot of players are doing. They are afraid. They'll prefer to do a 3-point competition because at least at that point, hey, if I lose, I lose. It's shooting. But
Exactly.
jumping, that's like the that's like a real physical fight. That's what it is. You know what I mean? The 3-point competition is like shadow boxing. The dunk competition is like MMA. It's a real fight. Now, if you lose that, people gonna be like, yeah, 1-0 or 0-1, and that's what I think he's afraid of, which a lot of players are, which we're seeing. And I think, again, that LeBron is the one that started that trend of
Oh, for
caring
sure.
caring more about the brand and how it comes off, rather than just because back in the 80s and 90s it was even 2000, well earlier 2000, it was who
Early.
cares. You're in it just for
Mhm.
the love of the game, and no, now it's all about their brand, and they don't want to lose that mystique. And I think that's exactly, I think Zion's following that trend.
Gotcha. So that being said, what did you think about the this year's All Star Game dunk competition?
All right, now, yeah, I see. Right now, here's where, mind you, I was about to say here's where I might lose you, but I'm pretty sure I lost you a couple times during this conversation. But right here, I might lose you. Okay. Um, I thought it was okay. I think it started off on a bad note. Like with Cassius Stanley's numbers that they gave him, I thought
Yeah,
that
that was
was
well
it was bull. And
beyond.
especially to a young player that plays mentally.
And you saw it.
And exactly, I fully read that. And therefore, it totally took him out of his game. And that's why he just went for the, second, when his second dunk happened, he missed what he was trying to. I was like, you know what? I don't
Mhm.
even know what they're going to give me on this. So I thought that was bull. I don't like the new way they're doing it, or at least for this time where it was pretty much 3 dunks.
Mhm.
1 round. No, yeah, 1 round, 2 dunks, and then the next round, 1 dunk.
Mhm.
I found it was nonsense. I do like the fact of how they do the judging, though. Of they actually put down the name of who you think won rather than a score. That actually changes the whole game. I actually like that. But overall, I thought the dunk competition was pretty good if they did not have those certain changes and stipulations about only 3 dunks. I need to see more dunks than that to say that you did a great job. Anthony Simon, I I like the kiss on the, like, okay, the homage to Tracy McGrady. I can't knock it. One of my favorite players ever. So I can't knock the homage. He did it clean, but it still wasn't as good as Tracy's in my opinion. You know what I mean? So
Nope.
therefore,
Nope.
the points that he got was a little too high for it. But
Okay.
they gave him a little too much, gave him some respect on it. Then the kissing the rim again. I liked how high he got on it, but he needed to add something more to it. He needed a
Like kissing the rim.
kissing the rim or something. Pause. Even if he had like a straw or something, or like when you take pictures with a fake mouth or something where it would have been a kissing of the rim. Because other than that, I like but he did get up high. But I needed more of a visual. His first dunk though, with the 11-foot two hand,
Mhm.
that was fire. I'll give him that. That was fire. It wasn't like fancy or nothing, but just for the fact of a 6'3" guy getting up to 11 foot with two hands, dunking it, I gave him actually some high numbers on that. That's just that I thought that compared to the other players' numbers, his was too high. That's the
Mhm.
only reason. Because Cassius Stanley getting a 44 or something on his, and then giving that like a 49 or whatever, 40.
49, yeah.
I was like, that's my issue with it. It's not that he didn't deserve a high number. It's just that since they gave him such a low number, you can't go that route with that two-hander. But that's my overall. Obi Toppin, we all know for a big man, it's difficult. Like unless you're Dwight Howard, it's pretty much you're climbing a hill. Like you need to. There was no chance for him really. Like everything looked like it was. He was jumping this high off the floor. It was.
Literally. Which
But
his
but
first dunk was nice, but anyways.
it was nice. The problem was is that we've seen it before, and we saw it so recently. Like everyone was saying, everyone saw it in Avril. I was about to say Avril Lavigne, but but in Levine's dunk, he did it during warm
Warm
ups,
ups.
So when you see someone do something during warm-ups and then literally a week later you see him do it in a dunk competition, it's difficult to give it that same credit when someone made it look. Mind you, Levine is an all-time great dunker. So you got to keep that in mind too. I'm talking all-time NBA great dunker because, there's some professionals out there that would kill him. But so overall, okay, good enough for what they tried to do, do something during halftime, but I hope that they change their system, the way they do it, and get some better judges. And it's difficult to say, but they need some better judges. So that's my critique. It was something to watch. I'll put it that way. What's your opinion on that?
I didn't like it.
No?
Nah. And again, allow me 2 seconds. I got a special guest. I'm gonna bring him in for this because we need to discuss this with him around. Just give me 2 seconds. I gotta bring Vincent on this, right?
Ah, I see you. Hey, how you doing?
This man here set the bar high for me.
Okay.
I'll never forget watching this dunk competition, and ever since then, that bar has been through the roof. All right.
I got you.
All right, Vince. You can go back and watch some TV, please.
Got you.
And the reason that the bar is high for me, especially when it comes to dunk contests, especially now more than ever, is everyone's not dumb. Everyone's got the internet and YouTubes and sees what's going on in the world of sports.
Exactly.
Basketball is no different, and dunking is no different. Dunking is an art.
Yeah.
And we know that there are some artists out there who do some sick dunks.
Exactly.
Some of these sick dunks that these NBA guys can duplicate. They can do that.
That's true.
So when the dunk contest comes around, I'm expecting to see some form of variation of these dunks that we see on YouTube and through all these various shows. I'm expecting to see a variation of that.
Yeah.
Doing the dunks that we saw in the dunk contest did not make me go, damn, or ooh. I think there was none of that reaction. And to me, that's the important factor of a dunk contest. If you go back from the beginning till it disappeared and then it came back, one of the things fans like, whether they're watching it on TV or they're in person, is that factor. The ones that make you almost fall off your seat because I've never seen that, or I've seen that, but I ain't never seen it like that.
Yeah.
And that to me is what I want to see in a dunk contest. So again, when he went up for that dunk, at first I was confused. I'm like, okay, he did a simple tomahawk jam. Then they did the replay and you see him going for that kiss. I'm like, yo, did this man kiss the rim? He pulled back. Bruh, at the height he got up, he could have kissed the rim. If he had kissed the rim and came down and missed the dunk, I would have still given him a 50 because he got up and kissed the rim.
But he would have lost his teeth though, man. Bruh,
this guy makes, right now he's making thousands of dollars. Okay, he can get new teeth.
Bruh, I feel you, but
all right. But I mean, okay, so maybe not necessarily, but he could have got definitely closer.
Could have definitely got closer.
Like he didn't get as close. That's why when you see it at first, you're confused as to what happened.
Yeah.
I almost did a ooh when I saw the replay. Yeah. But then I saw he's like, I get his intentions, but
he was afraid. He was afraid. You know what I mean? That's why he needed to add something more to it.
Again, I like watching it. I just didn't thoroughly enjoy it because, again, there's no real fun factor to me. Now, I'm not going to sit there and critique any of these guys because I'm way past that stage of trying to even. Bro, I got a play school net over there. I got a hard time doing a simple layup, and it's 2 feet tall. So I'm not going to go and critique these guys for what they're doing because they're professionals. But at the same time, being at that point of the game and being in an all-star game, you got to bring something. You mentioned, the whole setup in itself was weak with the 2-3 dunks, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame it on the fact that they had a limited amount of time to get all this done.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to knock the whole system this year because of that. But you're right. For future ones, God willing that we're able to have some form of normalcy next year and they can have a normal All-Star game.
Yeah.
I feel like All-Star weekend, I feel like they need athletes in general when you're doing, especially the dunk competition, you really have to bring that, like, okay, I'm going to do a double between the legs because I'm pretty sure any one of them 3 guys last night can do that.
Yeah. No,
You
and
know
and
what I
I,
mean?
I agree with
So
you. But the thing is, I think either they go full one way by making stars like mandatory or something for actual legitimate, because whether we're expecting them to jump through the roof or show us something we haven't seen, if at least the stars are in it, we'll still be entertained by seeing what they can do. It's having these no-name guys that we know could jump, still do stunts we've seen millions of times. It's just really not entertaining. So that's one thing. Or which spitballing here, but I thought about it, and I think it would be pretty dope and mad entertaining.
I know exactly
They,
what you're gonna say.
I don't know. Hopefully, they
Go.
take guys that don't really dunk, like barely dunk. Let's say I don't even know I don't think JJ Barea is still in the league, but let's say a JJ Barea, a Mike Conley,
Mm.
a Steph Curry, just whomsoever. All these guys that Lowry, all these guys that don't dunk, make them have a dunk competition. I
Okay,
think
not on the same
that,
page, but that's actually a pretty good idea.
dude, I would want to see what dunks
For
these
sure.
guys can do. You know what I mean? I think that is where it would be, because even seeing Steph Curry, I don't know, between the legs, dude, I'd be flipping out. You see Mike Conley do a windmill, I'd still be like, yo, you feel me? A Lowry
Yeah,
do a reverse pump. All these things, even though they're basic dunks we've seen, these guys, I would
they're not
have,
known for it.
and I think that would be a different level of excitement, and you know what I mean? So.
You know, while we're at it, might as well switch up the 3-point contest too. Have guys who can't shoot.
Well,
3-point
I
contest.
know that's not. I feel you on that, but that.
Skills competition, shoot. Put the head coaches in, like you know what I mean. Have them do it, and then have the players dog them if they miss layups or can't make.
So we're just gonna poo poo on my idea. I feel you. I'm just saying I would be
No, but
entertained
no,
by seeing the smaller
you would
guys
be.
doing it. That's all
What
I'm
I'd like
saying.
again,
Mhm.
whoever's in the dunk contest, you go and get them amateur guys out there who do this for a living as their art, their job, and the profession, and maybe you
Mhm.
work with them on some new ideas to bring to the
Mm,
dunk contest
yeah.
again. Because I just find, especially in the last couple of years, yeah, there's been some small exceptions with your Levines and your Gordons, but overall, like 2 3 years after the whole the Vince fiasco, I
Yeah.
find it's either like crap or
Yeah.
mediocre. Oh, and then crap again.
Okay,
Like
because
you know what I mean?
I was about to say the Zach Levine and Gordon. That was a high
Yeah,
one
that's what
right
I'm saying.
there. So that's okay.
I'll give them the credit there because
Yeah.
they brought back that essence of not fun and competition. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
what you gonna do? Okay, yo, check this one out. I've been holding this one
Exactly.
back. Whereas this
Exactly.
was like you said, when Cassius got robbed on his first dunk,
Yeah.
it's like as a young buck, it ruined the rest of the contest for him. Because he's like, listen, if
Mhm.
I pulled that out and
Yeah.
clean, that was a clean
Exactly.
dunk, and he got up. And y'all gonna
Exactly.
give me a 44 for that? But then I got this 690,000 foot tall dude
Mhm.
come and put it between his legs and reverse it. He gets nearly a 50 for that? Oh, you got
Exactly.
46? I think you got
Yeah.
46 or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
I
Something
think
like
it
that.
was 44, 46, and 48 were the scores
Yeah.
from like
Exactly. Something like that. You're right.
I'm like,
The numbers they didn't pan out. It didn't pan out. And plus, again, he got into his own head. Once he missed that dunk twice, he was just like, I know they already deducted this right now. So he tried
let me
going
just
for
do
something.
something simple.
Exactly. But no, I
So
think I feel you on that one as far as getting some professional dunkers maybe to help them, but they need to figure out a way to make it worth, because at one point it was worth these dunkers, well, the superstars, the Jordans, the Dominiques, all of them, because they were making money, but they weren't making that much money. So an extra
mm-hmm.
50,000, 100,000, it was still worth them to winning. Now you're telling somebody that has millions upon millions of dollars for 100,000 to maybe ruin their whole name. It's not worth it for them, bro. So they need to figure out a way to make it like, beneficial in some way, whether upping it to $1 million to the winner, 2 million. I guarantee you one of some of these young rising stars like a Zion and different people will join it if they make it that way. And just something where it'll be beneficial. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we're gonna keep seeing no names until they fully take it out. I'm just saying.
All right. So I know we touched upon them on the last time we spoke, but naturally they're back in the news again. The Brooklyn Nets and
Yeah,
Blake
man.
Griffin.
Yeah.
Phil. The NBA is something else. But I'm not mad at Blake.
Mm.
I'm just saying the NBA is something else. DeAndre Jordan, if Blake Griffin were to start, then there's Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving, and James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
That's a starting five.
Yeah.
Now, let's say they're all healthy and playing the best basketball they can play as a cohesive unit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do as the opposing team?
My question, I'm not even joking though. Um, are they gonna really be that good? The reason I ask that is because they still need a solid defensive center. That's what they're missing right now. They have athleticism, clearly. They have, no matter how much people claim Blake Griffin has fallen off, he's still a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's really good. So, offensively, they're solid, but they've been solid offensively. Defensively, though, that's their hole. And they have not. Getting Blake Griffin doesn't help them defensively at all.
Nope.
So I still don't understand why they're not getting some random big man off the trade market for literally or free agency just for nothing. But until they do that, I can see a couple of teams beating them still. That's the thing. Like I could still see LA beating them just because of bodies, not because of more talent, but because they actually have someone down low that can score. They at
Mm-hmm.
least they have AD that plays both sides, which again I like Jordan, but he can't do nothing with AD. I don't believe so. I like Blake, but Blake can't do nothing with AD. I don't believe so. And yeah, the Lakers got at least Markieff Morris. They got what's called. They picked up that new kid, not new kid, but a dude off the free agency. Just another big man, Jones, something I forgot his name, but yeah, just a big man. They're building up because they know their only competition really is going to be the Nets in the finals. So they're planning on beating them to death on the inside. That's all I'm trying to say. So I don't
So
know.
you think that the addition of Blake Griffin automatically gives them a berth to the NBA Finals? Because I
Okay,
don't.
okay, that's the thing. The reason I say it will is because the only team that I could see beating them in the East would be Philly. Now, Philly, Embiid has having an amazing season, but they will be able to literally lock everybody else down, in my opinion, because I think Blake can cancel out Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
The only person left would be Embiid. Now, that's one side of the ball. The other side, though, with Durant, Kyrie,
Harden.
Harden, you know what I mean? Blake Griffin, all of that firepower, I can't see Philly being able to stop that. So I'm just saying, who do you think will actually give them? Who do you think will stop them in the East or can stop them in the East?
I'm going with the New York Knicks.
Are you joking?
Yeah,
Okay,
of course I'm joking.
okay. I'm sorry because I'm like, I'm tripping right now. I'm like,
Although they've been playing decent ball recently, I can't knock them
yeah,
because they
no,
have been playing
definitely.
better. But
That ain't it, Chief.
no, I think that um, I'm still not going to count out Milwaukee
I'm
just
counting them out.
because
I'm counting them
I, I,
out.
I'm not counting them out just yet. Just because I have to give them that level of respect that they've taken their beatings over the last 2-3 years. That hopefully that they're coming this year, they're coming correct and they're coming hungry. The same way with Philly. You're right. Philly might be their best matchup in terms of
Mhm.
taking them down. I'm just not going to count out Milwaukee just yet. Not just yet.
Milwaukee doesn't
Not just yet.
have the firepower though. That's the
Not
thing.
just yet.
Philly has
This
the firepower. They got Seth. They
I'm
got
not counting them out yet. I can't. I can't do it.
Green. They got some shooters. That's why they can have a chance because they actually have shooters that might match up better against the Nets. But Milwaukee this year has looked probably the worst that they've looked in the last couple of years.
Right now, they're gonna
Yeah.
catch a groove for sure. They're gonna catch a groove,
Okay. Okay.
and that's why I'm not counting them out yet. Like, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? There's certain teams I can count out. I'm not gonna count them out just yet. When we have more conversations, my tune may change. It may not change.
You know,
It may
all they
not.
have to do is make a wall against the Greek Freak, bro. Like he's not gonna be able to score. Just
He just went
saying.
16 for 16. He's gonna score.
My G. My G. My
He
G.
did.
Did you see
Now,
those threes? Did you see those threes?
yeah, he banked him, bro. He called the bank. He said, "Yo, Bank of America, I'm about to make a deposit."
Bruh, yo.
That's what
All
he
I'm
did.
saying is, yeah.
That's what he did, and it
I,
worked. The bank says, "No problem, Mister Atakakumpo. We're open."
if you have faith, man, if you have faith, I ain't knocking it. If you
I'm
have
not gonna
faith.
count them out. I'm not gonna count them out yet.
Yeah,
But back to Brooklyn.
yeah.
For me, the only way they're making it far
Mm-hmm.
is if they're healthy.
100%. And that's just a disclaimer. That's what I'm counting on too. You know what I mean? But I also think that one of the reasons they got Blake Griffin is just in case Durant isn't healthy in time. Like, for the beginning of the playoffs. If he's not healthy throughout the whole playoffs, then they still might make it, but it'll be
I,
harder.
I don't know if they'll pull it off, but you're right.
Yeah.
They might still make it. I was also reading that there's a good chance Drummond
Yeah.
could end up with the Lakers.
Lakers. Yeah. That's it. And because
And
they're building.
I thoroughly believe at this point,
Yeah.
if that happens,
Yeah.
I'm not watching the NBA for the rest of the season because there's no way the Lakers lose at that point.
But that's what I'm saying. They're
There's
actually.
absolutely what. Listen, you got Drummond, AD, and LeBron. Forget the rest of the team. You have those three,
Bro.
especially Drummond. Drummond, I'm sorry, he's a longer, more talented version of Dennis Rodman. And adding him
Yeah.
to a team like the Lakers just it becomes nonsense. It
Yeah.
literally becomes video game esque.
Yeah.
And it would kind of be boring for me anyways. Again,
I get you.
listen, I'm a fan of blowout games every so often.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's a clear advantage and you're just demolishing teams, it becomes boring
No,
to
definitely. Definitely.
watch. I'm not playing, so I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But to watch, especially because there's no real ambiance either when you're watching it. Like
Yeah.
when you're watching the games now, there's pumped in audio, it's so generic. And if you can't tell that, then maybe you're not a real fan of sports, period.
Yeah. No,
Because you know the
exactly.
difference between a crowd and so all you're
Yeah.
really getting more than ever is the commentators.
Yeah.
Like, even hockey. Like I've seen a couple of hockey games, flipping. Yeah, there's generic sound, but like yeah, you get to hear them skating a little more. You get a little more chirping you hear from the ice,
Yeah.
but there's no real ambiance. Like, you know what I mean? It's like them being outside and playing at the park all night to the hours, although playing outside is way cooler than playing inside, my
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Fully agree.
But
Fully agree.
there's just that ambiance isn't there. So
Mm-hmm.
when you got a team like the Lakers who will be demolishing people, I'm not gonna sit there and watch 2.5 hours of my life go by while they're destroying teams because they're so talented because they
Dominant.
got
Yeah.
Drummond. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it'll be a great pickup. Again, I think they're kind of still with all these players. I think they're picking up. For one, to go against the Nets, but for two, because they're not 100% sure on AD's health. I think, and that's same like I said for Blake Griffin. I think it's because they're not 100% sure with KD. With Drummond, I think it's because they're not 100% with AD. Because they know LeBron can step up his points and he can facilitate. So if you have a rebounder and someone that can score, that all you have to do boom, 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 pass it. I think they're building a just in case plus a great added if they get them. So that's I think they're doing a good job. But again, we've seen what GM LeBron does. Like he in that East game, I was watching some different sports, and a lot of people were saying that they think that Durant had a chance with his squad and da. But LeBron knew who he was picking, man. He was like first person, the Greek Freak, second person, Steph. Like he knew, boom, boom, boom. First person off the bench, Dame Lillard. Like he knew who he was gonna pick. And I don't think some of these GMs don't have his skill. And I'm not even a LeBron fan like that, but he knows the game, bro.
Team Durant only had a chance if Durant was playing. Let's be honest.
100%. And I think he was picking as though he was playing.
Well, yeah.
You know, like I think he was picking like, yo, that'd be great, but not realizing that, bruh, you're not playing. You need to
You're
get
not playing.
somebody.
So
You know, you should probably have gotten Giannis or somebody else. You know, but you know, mind you, it wasn't his turn to get him. But I'm just saying.
all right. So
But
while we're
yeah.
still on the subject of basketball, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we've ever had this conversation. But I just want to pick your brain here. Here in Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
that- that's where we're at. That's where we're located. Do you think an NBA franchise could survive in Montreal?
Before pandemic.
Yeah, before pandemic. Let's just
Okay,
say there's
yeah.
no
I know. I
pandemic.
just want to clarify
Yeah.
because you.
Do you think it could survive here in Montreal?
I used to believe so, but I don't anymore. The reason why is because of the Matrix. They really didn't get enough support. Like they never and once I saw that happen, I was like, how would we treat? We saw look with the Expos. Their last years here, they weren't getting no love, bro. Like tickets were like $10, $15. It was horrible. So I could just imagine with a sport that's not fully loved or brought in like basketball. Of course, in the beginning, there'd be a crazy buzz, but everyone knows with a starting franchise, usually you suck. And
Hmm.
again, we're only loyal to the Canadians, like the hockey team. That's the only ones
A
we are
winning Canadians team, by the way.
winning, but we'll at least watch. We'll at least curse them off and watch. Now, but with any other sport, we'll just be like, what? Like they won't give them no love. And like I said, we saw it fully happen with the Expos. And so I used to believe that we would be great just because within the basketball community, there would be so much love and respect and appreciation. But outside of the basketball community, which there would have to be to actually
Hmm.
have a good franchise, there would not be. So I don't believe that it would actually be able to stand. What about
Okay,
you?
so we're on the same page because I feel the exact same way. We know that the basketball community in Montreal is relatively strong, but
Yeah,
it's not strong enough to maintain
a full
the
franchise.
support of an NBA franchise.
Yeah,
You need the outside sources to be as dedicated to supporting that local team, or else
exactly.
it's gonna falter. Like you said, Expo is perfect example. We
Yeah.
were a strong franchise for years, and
Hmm.
then that year the lockout kind of just ruined everything.
That
And
was our
then
year, though. That was our year,
yeah,
though.
it really was. But then after that, it just kind of it killed it. And in more ways than one, I mean, again, as a baseball fan, a baseball player,
Yeah,
it kind of killed baseball in general in Quebec
100%.
because I look at from when I was growing up to what I'm seeing now. I mean, now there's a bit of a resurgence starting to come back up, which
Okay.
it is what it is. But for a
Mm.
while, like even growing up here on the South Shore, baseball started to decline where there used to be hundreds of kids. There's
Yeah.
just you know
No,
a
definitely.
few. So it'd be the same thing for basketball. And the only
Mm.
reason why I even asked this question is because I'm seeing, there's people out there who are now putting their camps and who are leaving here or going other places but still repping Montreal in terms of
Mm.
trying to get Montreal more on the map in terms of the talent we have here. Because let's be honest, there's like most major places, there's a boatload of talent
A
here,
lot.
and
Don't get
so obviously
recognized.
that question
Mm.
of, well, would a franchise within the city help boast that local talent that's here by getting us more exposure? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I've always been one to say that. I'm like, listen, you can have a franchise here. You can try it. It might not work more than 2-3 years,
Mm.
because the fans here aren't loyal enough to say that they're going to be 100% committed to following whatever the Montreal basketball team name is.
Exactly.
Your basketball players will go, like, you know what I
100%.
mean? But
Exactly.
if you can't get that Montreal Impact fan to also commit to that NBA team to come watch every so often or
Yeah.
support them even at a bar or whatever, it's not going to happen. You can't rely on businesses here to buy out season passes just to
Exactly.
get business partners to come to these games, because you're going to end up in an explo situation where the seats are going to be empty, where they're practically like, you know what, here, just show up and you grab a seat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, exactly. And
So,
then it was heartbreaking. Mind you, it was amazing for cheap tickets, but it was heartbreaking, especially you kind of saw that it was going to happen before it happened.
mm-hmm.
And there was like empty stadiums and it was still amazing to watch, but Yeah, no,
which is
I can't see it happening.
which is why I'm afraid now, because there's always going to be talks of whether there's going to be another baseball team back in Montreal. Will the
Yeah,
Expos come back? I would love for the Expos to come back. I'll be
exactly.
one of the first to tell you, if I'm able to get a reasonably priced season pass, I don't care if I'm sitting up in the boondocks,
Yeah,
I'll spend my money and buy myself a season pass. But
exactly.
again, Montreal, and I'm not knocking any other city out there, but unless you live here, like, you understand, like, when it comes to sports, it's either they love you or they hate you. Even the
Exactly.
Canadians, even when people hate the Canadians, they still love the
No, that's why. That's our team. Like that's our sport. That's our team. So that's the
Canadians.
only one. Certain cities and states they'll have three, and it's diehard. If you mention like New York, whether it's the Knicks,
Yeah,
whether it's the Yankees, whether it's the Mets, whether it doesn't the
there's plenty to
Giants,
choose from.
but they have regardless of which fan base, they have diehard fans for that. Can Montreal is not the same. It's hockey, diehard, regardless, and then even Impact. Don't get me wrong; they have their diehard fans, which is dope, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also in a smaller setup. Like it's not as big as hockey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they did it right, where it's like not to the same degree. If they were trying to play soccer in like a huge dome, like they do in Europe and stuff, we wouldn't be able to sell out, bro. Like it would not be possible. Hockey is the only sport out here that can actually continuously do it, whether it's a good team or a bad team. Any other
Mm-hmm.
sport is just not. It doesn't have that type of love here, man.
Yeah,
So
that's why
no,
I'm afraid. Like I said, you bring back a baseball team here again. Yeah, the first couple of years is going to be fantastic, but we're
yeah,
not going to get the top name brands right off the bat. It's all
exactly.
through years of building and getting a reputation. By the time we're able to start getting some stars here, and people
No,
here are just going to be impatient. And before you know it, this sounds like, well, maybe we need to send them back to Florida. Like, you know what I
no,
mean?
it's
Like,
true. Look, with the Raptors, it took them over 20 years to win a championship. Do you think that Montreal has that type of
patience.
patience to wait over 20 years for basketball?
Bro, we're still hanging
Uh,
on the what was the last cup here? 93? We're still holding on
93.
to that 93 cup,
Holding
okay?
on
Here in
strong too,
Montreal.
man. That's what I'm
Look what
saying.
happened at the beginning of this year. They won like what, 8-1, and everyone's talking about, oh, Montreal's winning the cup. Man,
Yeah.
again, as a Montreal Canadiens fan, I sat back and said, we go through this every goddamn year. They start off hot and then they get cool, and then everybody's just like, oh, the Canadians this, the Canadians that.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, so they fired the coach. Great. All right, you think that's gonna help? I
Yeah.
personally don't think so. I still think they need to get rid of Carey Price, my personal opinion.
The
But
problem is you can't get rid of Kerry. Like
you can,
you
for his
can.
sake, for his
Yeah, for his
betterment,
sake,
for his
yes.
sake and his
Yes.
betterment, you
Yes.
can get rid of him.
See, I agree with that. I thought you were just saying the team needs to, but no, I think for him,
Yeah.
because I think he deserves. I think he deserves to be with another
I say
franchise.
leave and go get your
Yeah,
Patrick Roy Stanley Cup somewhere else, because
exactly. I agree with that.
I'm on good authority to say that if he were to leave Montreal
Mhm.
within the next year or two of him leaving Montreal, he's
Mhm.
hoisting the Stanley Cup.
I can see that. He has the talent. He's always had the talent. It's the team. They haven't been able to build around him. So I agree. I agree with that. But
So
no,
that's what I'm saying. When I say get rid of Carey Price,
yeah,
it's not so much that, like, get rid
yeah,
of him to get rid of him. It's
yeah,
just for you, Carey Price, as a top level goaltender.
yeah,
The last thing you want is to be a top level goaltender whose market is plummeting because he's sticking with a franchise who's not helping you
yeah.
get any better. Like, you know what I
No,
mean?
I agree with that,
So
actually. I agree with that. Yeah, that's definitely an unpopular opinion, but I agree with it.
I'm just saying, get rid of Carey Price. It is what it is.
Uh, but no, I fully agree, bro. But no, it's we definitely aren't willing to have that much patience for a team
Ah.
rebuilding or a new team. We won't do it unless it's hockey. So
Do you think there's any city, any other city in Canada outside of Toronto that could potentially host a professional basketball team?
I honestly think if Vancouver were to do it again, they would do it right. I think they could do it. Just because it's so close, like it's on the West Coast, it's so close to the States, that for one, the traveling would be so easy. And for two, it's it's just the people there are into their sports as well, you know? So I could see that happening. It's very much like Toronto, except different. So I could see
On a
that.
slightly smaller scale. Yeah, I get you.
Exactly. Other than that, different provinces, because a lot of our provinces are hockey fans, die hard. Like that's the
Canada in
thing,
general. Like,
die hard hockey fans. But now to try to put basketball into place, I can't see too many places. Like that, a lot of our places are very rural. I wanted to use that word. I've always wanted to use it. So a lot of
so
our
grown up of you.
yeah, a lot of our places. So like they know what they know and don't really want to know nothing else. Like they know their hockey team, they love their hockey team, but they don't care nothing about no other sport. So that's pretty much. So no, I honestly can't think of any other Edmonton. I can't really think of anywhere. I could see Ottawa, but Ottawa's too small.
Mm.
Like I could see Ottawa unless they made a Montreal team in Ottawa. If they called it the Montreal, but in Ottawa, I could see that actually sell it out. I could see
The
that working.
Ottawa Montrealers.
That's what I'm saying. I can see that working if they did something like that. But Ottawa is just too small of area. But even though it's compact, it has a good fan base, a great fan base actually, and people that are open to different sports. It's just I can't really. Other than that, I really can't see nowhere else, man. You?
All right, all right. Ah, I really can't. Mainly because it's population size. That's what it
Yeah,
comes down to. You
yeah,
know, that not because there's 10 million people that live in that city means you're gonna fill up a stadium that seats 30,000 people full of actual fans. So,
yeah. No, I
you know,
agree.
and again, if it ain't hockey,
That's what I'm saying.
do you really have a chance?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. That's why BC I think is the best place. If they could do it again, I think they'd probably get it right this time. Because they were doing pretty good for a while until some bad contracts and not marketing right. A bunch of reasons, but overall they started off pretty strong, and I think they could
Mhm.
probably do it again. But I
Yeah,
can't
I
think of
could see
anywhere
it.
else.
I could see that happening too.
Mhm.
Especially if you put that right team in place, you can definitely make it a sustainable franchise
Yeah,
out west. Which again,
definitely.
it would be nice to see another Canadian franchise again
Yeah, no,
at some
definitely.
point.
It'd be dope, man. Yeah,
Give me
it'd be
another
dope.
reason to try to get out to Vancouver, anyways.
I'm telling you, man. One of the best places, man. One of the best places so far, but so close.
What would you say about the NBA having All-Star games not in NBA cities, like a Montreal?
That's a good. See, that's a great idea. That is fantastic. I think they should definitely look into that. Um, definitely that. Yeah, I think that would be a great
That would
idea. I
wouldn't it be
think I'm
crazy?
like that would be a great idea.
You do it
Yeah.
here, you do it in some random other city that doesn't have an NBA team
Mhm.
but has the facilities to support. I think that would actually be better than every 5, 6, 7, 8 years or 10 years in some cases. Like ATL, I think the last one they had was 2000 and when we had six, it was 2003 was the last time I was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? But I think if you do it in non-NBA cities, it'll help promote your game better.
I definitely agree. The problem is like I think they should. It's about what city again.
Well, for sure, for
You know what
sure.
I
There's
mean?
always
That's
gonna.
the
I
thing.
mean,
Like,
they're gonna vote. They're gonna have to scout. They're gonna have to
yeah,
vote. They're gonna have to see. You know, considering basketball is generally around hockey time. So if you
yeah,
pick a city that doesn't have an NBA franchise that has hockey, you don't want to interfere. You don't want to screw
exactly.
up the NHL schedule. So
The only
listen, the
two.
logistics of it, I don't know,
No,
but
no. The only two cities I could see it working, honestly, would be BC or Montreal.
yeah,
Like those are the only. Because don't get me wrong, we have a bunch like Saskatchewan and all these places, but you're bringing them out there for what? Like they're gonna be like, what are we gonna do, bro?
yo, bring them up, get them on a horse, teach them a lasso that cow, man. Yeah,
I'm just
bring
saying,
up that
like
culture.
that's why I can't see that working. But through these like our bigger our metropolitans and stuff, I could definitely see us that working. So that's definitely a good idea. How do you feel about no Raptors being an All Star game? It's been a while since this happened.
So I've always been a firm believer that regardless of the sport,
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna have an all-star event, that each team should have representation.
Okay.
That's just how I felt
Mm-hmm.
because when you don't do that, you're basically saying that your team has no one dubbed an all-star. And
Mm-hmm.
this isn't necessarily just based on the fans. This should just be the NBA saying, like, listen, this team's gonna have 15 guys and this team's gonna have 15 guys. again, there's some teams that have 2 or 3 players that are deserving to be there,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with as well. I just feel that, like, okay, there might not be anyone who's, I'll use the Knicks, for example. Like, okay, so there's nobody out there, like, that's a superstar, but hey, you know what, RJ, here's your chance. We're going to send
Mhm.
you All-Star game, but, you go, and maybe he plays 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. And
Yeah.
that's all he gets, but
Well, Randall made it this year, but I get you.
no,
I get what you're saying.
but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, you take some of these teams and you look at it, it's like,
Yeah.
because truthfully speaking, I felt like Van Fleet should have been there. If anyone from the Raptors was going to be on an All-Star team or picked for an
Yeah.
All-Star team, it should have been him.
See, I
Just my
feel you.
opinion.
I feel you. But me, I still say Larry. I would still say just off of, I think of name. It's not necessarily what he's done. It's just like it's not necessarily what he's doing, but what he's done, and you know what he's gonna give to you. I'm always I would say Larry, because Ladley, although he's been playing really well, it's still not all-star level. It's still really good starter, but not all-star level. Lowry's been all-star level, and right now he's just not really on a good team. So I'd give him the nod just because, like, a career pick, just because you've just been there so
I get
many.
it.
You're the most winningest Raptor of all time. It's just like I could definitely just, but yeah,
No,
uh,
I agree with that too. That makes a lot of sense. You take
yeah,
your franchise, you
exactly.
set up for the All-Star game. Like, you know what I mean?
But I don't agree with every team having a representative, just because there are some sorry teams,
For sure.
and then you'll have, like, because the Raptors is a borderline team. Like, you would not be surprised if a Raptor got picked, but then
Mhm.
there's some sorry teams that, you know what I mean, where we shouldn't be talking about them, like Phoenix in past years.
Mhm.
Like, like they were crap for a long time.
So Trey Young.
So there you go. See, Trey Young, he can be an all-star. He's definitely talented enough to be an all-star. But did he deserve to be an all-star? No. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying it's like some crappy teams where their players don't deserve to be an all-star. He's a good player, and he plays really well. But when you talk about the top guards, it takes a while to get to his name. When you talk about the top players, it takes a while to get to his name, even though he's a star on his team. Like, when you talk about even the Raptors, it takes a while to get to any of those players' names. The only reason I would want is because I'm Canadian, I'm a Raptors fan, and I respect our players. But for the most part, I don't blame them for not giving any Raptors the nod,
Oh, and neither do
So,
I. But I don't know. Maybe it's just that that fair competitor for all-star purposes.
yeah, no, I get
We're
you.
not talking about choosing the Olympic team here. Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know what I
no,
mean?
it's
The Olympic
you.
team, that's gonna be different. I don't know. I just
Yeah,
always felt
and
like,
and
okay, it's
every
possible.
team
It's
has a fan
possible.
base. Every team has a fan base, so everybody would want to be represented in some way. It would probably
Exactly.
actually up the viewership at that. So you're not wrong about it. But
And again, it's
hmm,
a if possible scenario because
yeah,
let's be honest, if you're taking 15 guys from each team, there is only 30 teams in the NBA. You cannot just pick one player per team. It's
yeah,
virtually impossible because, especially the way teams are built now,
yeah.
a lot of teams have more than 1 or 2 superstars or even
The
just all
Nets,
stars on their team. You
the
know what I
Nets.
mean? The
Imagine,
Nets could have been a
imagine,
team.
imagine if Blake Griffin was there from the beginning of the season, bro. They would have probably had 4 All-Stars legitimately on that
For
squad.
sure.
So I
For
get
sure.
what you're saying. Uh,
So
Leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment, and we read everything. And yeah, if it makes the cut, we will definitely talk about it. And then that, I'm Trey,
and I'm nappy.
and yeah, holla at us. We in these streets.